18th, 2017. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Reyes. Council DePena.
Present.
Council Rodriguez. Council Abdu.
Here.
Council Ortiz.
Present.
Council Maldonado.
Present.
Council Alvarez Rodriguez. Council Vice President LaPlante.
Present.
And Council President Vasquez.
Present. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Given that this is a special meeting, we only have one item on the agenda, which is document 20517, fiscal year 2018 budget. Public hearing to be ordered. It has been submitted by Mayor Rivera. This is for the purpose of accepting the budget and then submitting it to the Budget and Finance Committee for review. And Mr. Mayor Rivera. Good evening.
Good evening, Council President, members of the City Council. I come tonight before you to submit for your review and approval a balanced fiscal year 2018 budget for the City of Lawrence. This budget continues my administration's focus on making our city safer, bringing jobs to our community, and supporting the turnaround effort in our city schools. This budget, as submitted, is balanced with no layoffs, and it is my hope that this legislative body would approve this spending plan by June 30, 2017. This is the fourth balanced budget I bring before you. And while Lawrence's tax rate is one of the most lowest in the Commonwealth, keeping it that way has been a priority of my administration. While I could have raised taxes in each annual budget submission, I chose not to. This budget is no different. So for the second time in my 4 years, I submit to you a budget with no increase in the property taxes. A budget with no increase in the property taxes. It is important to note that over the last 6 years, we've gone to the levy 5 times, 4 consecutive years before I became mayor, and then once in my time as mayor. But we've been able to do no increase in the property tax 2 years under my administration. I hope you will keep this in mind, that this budget is no different as some of the budgets I put before you. But this is a budget that's basically a tight budget, bare bones, and as you go through the process, keep in mind that this does uphold our values, and it doesn't raise taxes, and that there's very little places to cut as you think about cutting or places to add on to. Just as you know, as we work to make our city safer, we are funding the added 12 police officers that we have in the academy, and those folks who are in the academy are going to the academy before the end of this year. That's in this budget. By the end of this calendar year, we will have 145 sworn police officers, and we will continue to hire officers as vacancies occur in order to maintain that number. It would be prudent for us to review the total number of officers next fiscal year so as to determine if you need to get more officers and whether or not the budget can sustain it. If you tabulate, that makes 23 net new police officers since I became mayor. Chief Fitzpatrick and I continue to find ways to maximize our police impact, doing the most with the number of sworn officers we have. We continue to actively manage the overtime spending and are ensuring that through CompStat, we're policing smarter and getting better results, all the while enhancing the relationship between the police and the community. To that end, as mentioned in my State of the City address, we also have much to do to bring the community closer to the police. And so we will start by adding a director and coordinator of community police liaison to support the chief and I in our efforts in community policing. These 2 positions will focus the department's effort in dealing with missing and exploited children, domestic violence, and community interactions and customer service. In the fire department, as you know, we received a federal SAFER grant soon after becoming mayor that allowed us to hire 7 new firefighters. This budget begins to pay for these hires with general fund dollars by carrying the cost of 7 months of the salaries. The budget before you funds the fire department with 124 sworn firefighters, and this budget also continues to fund the newly reopened Bailey Street Fire Station and Engine 9, and the relocation of the Fire Prevention Office at the Ames Street Fire Station. While I did not support any of the collective bargaining agreements signed by the previous administration due to the overall cost of them, this budget fully funds them, as well as the 6 new collective bargaining agreements that we together have settled in my time as mayor. Now, these 6 collective bargaining agreements, unlike the ones in the past, have begun to balance the cost of raises with fewer fringe benefits. We did that together. For the first time in a long time, it's not just about raises, it's about balancing our books when it comes to fringe benefits. We will continue to manage overtime across all the departments. The goal of these efforts is to make our city safer, more professional, and better managed with less total cost for staffing. In education, which is a hot topic this year, this budget for the 4th year in a row meets our required net school spending. The budgeted amount, along with an added new $600,000 for transportation and an added dollars for school leases, will fund our education system $2.1 million more than last year. This does not count the added debt service for the new schools and the building projects that you have passed before you, and the other MSBA repair projects that are in the budget under the capital improvement plan. If this budget passes and the 2 educational support appropriation orders that you have before you also pass, that's another $2.5 million, we will have met net school spending, increased transportation, increased our leasing responsibility, increased our commitment to repairing our school buildings and infrastructures, and helped fill some of the department's budget gaps, and we would have kept the school department from having to lay off staff at a tune of total of $4.6 million more than net school spending mandates. So these funds go directly to our continued effort to turn around the schools, and results are showing serious progress. We also continue to fund our commitment to English language for adults by fully funding the Adult Learning Center. And in this budget, we continue to fund and support quality of life positions and address some of those long-standing issues in our city. Among these is, again, the homelessness coordinator, the American with Disabilities Act coordinator, and a new clerk to support the Recreation Department, the Disability Commission, and the Human Rights Commission. That's a clerk that will sit in recreation, spend half their time with recreation, a quarter time working on Disability Commission, and a quarter time working on the Human Rights Commission. And just as an added continuation, that we are continuing to support our cemetery in the ways we did last year in this budget. Finally, the overseer suggested, among other things, that we continue to follow our commitment to our forecasts and our financial policies and manage our debt service year over year, so as to fully fund our FY 2018 capital improvement plan, which will also be before you shortly. In an effort to put us on track to come out of the state oversight, we have continued to budget these recommendations from the overseer. And that full FY 2018, like I said, will be before you shortly for approval. I look forward to spending the next month working together to meet our shared obligation of a balanced budget by June 30, 2017. I will have appropriate staff and department heads present and prepared for your upcoming budget hearings. If any of those things fall short, feel free to reach out to me and our staff, and we'll make sure that things happen in the manner they need to as quickly as possible. So thank you in advance for your hard work and your cooperation in this important matter. Lastly, I respectfully ask for your approval of this budget in a timely manner. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council Vice President Mark LaPlante, before I submit the budget to the Budget and Finance Committee, do you have a schedule prepared?
Yes, I do. We are going to have an accelerated schedule this year in order to save the taxpayers money on extra public hearing notice requirements. So we're going to have it on 4 days. It's going to be ambitious, it's going to be aggressive, but I think we can handle it. The first meeting will take place on Tuesday, May 30th, Wednesday, May 31st, Thursday, June 1st, Monday, June 5th.
I'm sorry, June 1st?
Correct. And Monday, June 5th.
June?
Correct.
I'm sorry.
I'll repeat the dates again. May 30th, May 31st, June 1, June 5. The anticipation is for us to hold the final vote on a special meeting on the council president's recommendation on June the 13th. That's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So that's the schedule.
Time, the time?
Yeah, all the meetings will take place at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
This evening, before tomorrow morning, I will be releasing to the clerk the actual list of the departments, and then I'll get them out to the council president and to members of the council as soon as possible.
Thank you.
And I just want to make sure I have all members of the budget committee here. I'm going to presume all those dates work. They did work before, and I'm going to presume the only one that is June 5th is a new add-on. Does that work for the members of the committee? June 5, it's a Monday. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President.
Mr. President,
Before,
just a quick question.
yes.
So are you going to call for a public hearing now, or are you going to wait for a call for a public hearing?
We're going
That we
to,
do.
yeah,
the
we're going
past.
to order the public hearing.
The order for the public hearing, if I may, through you, Mr. President,
Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, the public hearing is attributable to the subcommittee sessions, which are required by charter to publish in advance of those hearings, and that's primarily what we're talking about. We were discussing or considering pre-ordering a public hearing for the 13th, which might preconceive, might not be reasonable to preconceive what the budget will be even after session with the council, but I leave that certainly to the council president and yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted clarification. It's fine. Either way, however you do it, it's fine. Thank you.
So my preference will be that we have a special meeting on June 13th. That way, we focus primarily on the budget alone, because it will be a lengthy meeting, most likely.
And again, I don't mean to interrupt, Council President, the 13th may not be possible because unless a publication or the order is received by the council as a committee report, regardless of recommendation or not, the advance of about 3 days or 2 days to publish the document, the appropriation order, which is probably going to be the same anyway.
Okay.
Without that order, it'd be putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. Once the order is received or the report is received by the full council from the subcommittee, then an order for public hearing would follow,
Okay.
which would roughly, could be as early as the 6th at the regular city council meeting. Then the publication, probably the earliest date that we could get it with, to comply with the charter is the 15th.
Yep, I follow your schedule there.
You see what I'm saying in the sense of scheduling? I mean, I'll work till midnight on the 6th to get it to the Tribune, but I don't think they'll be open.
Yeah. What's the earliest that we could start the hearings?
I would, the final hearings, I mean, looking forward to the final hearings on the budget before the city council, it's conceivable that once the order enters suggesting on the 6th,
No, my question is, when can we start our hearings? Because I know
the subcommittee or the full
the
committee?
subcommittees.
Oh, just as the council president, vice president has indicated.
So we have to start on the 30th?
That would be advisable, because it fits very well into what the publication would be. I would send the publication out tomorrow.
Yeah, but I was under the understanding we could start on the 24th, based on our conversation.
Council President, may interject?
Yeah.
We do have a budget that's been submitted by the mayor. It's been our past practice, and certainly we can change it at the full council level, to order that as a public hearing, that very document. Certainly the recommendations that we as a budget committee may have, we can have a discussion on it, and we can bring those matters to the full council. But at the very least, past practice has provided us to go ahead on a night like tonight, just order what the mayor has provided as public, knowing full well that it could be changed at any time during the budget, during amendments, et cetera, at the full budget, full council level.
And I agree with you, because I understand that what we're doing, but past practice dictates differently based on how we've done before.
And if I may again, the only, the position that I outlaid to you is the, we'll say the safest course.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I agree.
And just I want to understand that whatever you order certainly will follow.
And for the 13th, I do think that we should have this on a completely separate meeting. It shouldn't be part of the full council, the regular city council, because then we're going to be here till very late, and by the time we get to the budget, I think we're not going to be paying much attention to the details, and I think we should, all of our attention should be focused on this very important document. So I think we could, at this point, I'll ask for your guidance here, but I will submit this to the Budget and Finance Committee and also request that it stays at the full council so we could order the public hearing for the 13th. Would that work?
I believe that that would work, and certainly leaning into your conception of what should occur
Yeah.
in terms of the calendar, it is suggested certainly that would work. That's a very viable tactic to table the matter here, as well as referring it to the Budget and Finance Committee. And in fact, even if the council were to enter a public hearing order prospectively for the 13th, I could abide by that order, certainly, subject to any receipt of, we'll say, of the report from the Budget and Finance Committee that may enter later.
Okay.
I don't see a problem with that, but again, it deviates slightly what the usual practice is from council in all other documents, if you can understand.
Yeah. No, and I think that's exactly how we've done it
Yes, I think we've done that
before, at least since I've been a counselor, almost every year. We've ordered the public hearing for the budget, and we've also sent it to the committee for review.
And again, my only caution was to take the safest, outline the safest route. Don't want to preconceive what the subcommittee might do or what a vote of council might be.
Yeah. No, and I agree.
To either, geez, we have an order of public hearing on the table already. Geez, we haven't even received the report back to the full council yet.
Yeah. No, but with the schedule that we have, we should be able to get the report on time. If councilors feel comfortable with that timeline, I think that will be the best route. So we're not going to delay the process.
Through you, Council President.
Yeah.
Is that going to give us enough time to review the document at this level in case something happened or we didn't agree upon what was made, and in case we need to table? Like it happened
should.
last year.
It should. We have until June 30th to take action on the matter. If we do it by June 13th, we will have another 2 weeks to be able to come back if necessary.
So according to the dates that I have here, the latest review we're going to have at the subcommittee level is going to be Monday the 5th.
Yes.
We have a meeting on the 6th, correct?
Yes. That's our regular city council meeting.
So are we expecting the budget on the 6th?
On the 13th. That's going to be a special city council meeting to strictly speak about the budget and make a determination.
All right, and just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Why don't we publish the regular meeting for Wednesday? And that way we have 48 hours after after the subcommittee level finish the review, and that way we can have it on the 7th instead of the 6th, and we have more time. Perhaps we have the regular meeting, the regular full council meeting on the 7th. We change that date. Is that a possibility?
My suggestion is that we don't have the budget on the same night of a regular council meeting,
Oh,
because as we know, our council meetings have been running 2.5 hours to 3 hours long. By the time we start discussing the budget, it might be 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and I think that all of our attention should be focused on this.
yes, and my thought was that knowing the importance of this document and the importance of the budget for the city, and if we consider priorities and prioritize items on the agenda, can we table some new business that might take some time at that level and discuss this, start a discussion on the 7th.
I will prefer to have
That
this.
way we have some time.
I would prefer to have it as a completely separate meeting. That way, all of our attention is dedicated to this item. I think that this is the one of the most important decisions we make as a body, as a legislative body, because it will be determining how the city functions financially speaking.
Yes.
So all of
I
our
agree.
attention should be focused on it.
That's what I'm saying. So any new matters for that regular council meeting could be tabled, and we dedicate our time to this subject.
I will prefer not to delay the process for other items that
Okay.
will be submitted also for that
Just, that's
regular
just a
meeting.
suggestion.
Yeah. I
Uh,
appreciate it, yeah.
And what about having a special meeting during that week to talk about the budget, not on the 13th, not a week later?
We could put,
I just wondering to see if we can have more time.
we still
To
have,
review it, perhaps, if something happened, councilors will be able to have the opportunity to review it with more time, not just waiting for a week.
Yeah.
Just to get the budget after the budget and finance.
from now to
Homework.
June 13th, we have approximately 4 weeks. That will give us plenty of time for us to review it at the subcommittee level individually. I think we should have a relatively good idea within a month on how we will be making a decision. If on the 13th, we don't feel comfortable, on making a determination on whether to approve or deny the budget, we still have another 2 weeks left in the month to be able to reschedule if necessary. So I understand the concern and I appreciate the opinion, but I think that it will be better if we have a completely separate meeting rather than trying to have it combined with our regular council meeting.
No problem, I just say in case that we need more time. Perhaps last year, we were kind of like, we only have 2 opportunities to review the budget at this level, because of one location was stable, and then,
And the
Going
budget
back
is
and
to
forth.
be reviewed at the subcommittee level.
Yes.
When it comes to the full council, is not to review, but rather to
take action on it,
take action.
which
So-
could take
Yeah.
quite a bit.
And if necessary, we will have another
Probably 2 meetings more?
2 weeks.
I mean, can we, in case something happened on the 13th, do we have enough time to schedule 2 or 3 extra meetings in case we have to?
We will
Or
have,
June
we will
3rd.
have an additional 2 weeks.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, we will have an additional 2 weeks.
no problem.
Thank you.
So tentatively, is the 13th the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
So if I understand, your preference is to have, order a public hearing for the Budget Committee, those 4 meetings. We can do that this evening, and that's number 1.
Yep.
And number 2, we can also take a vote this evening to hold a public hearing on June the 13th, and then we could table that item there. So there's 2 tracks. The Budget Committee can do its work. It can also stay here to be brought up at the 13th, and there's no delay. And I think with your guidance, of course, that gives all of us plenty of opportunity and time to review the budget. We can all of us, and by the way, if a member of the council is not on the committee, yet wishes to participate in the committee, of course, they can't sit here, but as the chair, I will do whatever I can to include them as part of that conversation and be very liberal in allowing the discussion to flow.
Yeah. That's exactly the intention behind it. So, councilors, we're doing 2 separate.
Information.
Yeah,
Is
Councilor Martin.
is the budget already posted on the website?
Yeah, so currently, let me, for purposes of information here, the city budget is posted in 2 different sites within the city website. One of them is under the Budget and Finance Department, and another one is right at the homepage, to the left side on the top. And one,
Yes, please.
let's put one in the council's tab. Additionally, we have printed versions of the city budget for anyone who doesn't have accessibility to a computer in the city council office. The library director has allowed us to bring copies over. The copies are already there. The city clerk's office has, okay, so the city clerk's office, yeah, we have one for you prepared. So any residents that wishes to review the budget with us, you could access it online at 3 different links. You will have printed copies at the library, the mayor's office, the city council's office, and the city clerk's office.
And library?
The library, yeah. So the library has about 6 or 8 copies available for residents right
But
now.
that would be for review only, not to take home.
I think that the library director will allow them to take it home.
Just
Oh, to
like any
borrow.
other-
To
just
borrow
like-
it.
Okay,
Just like
okay.
any other book.
Just like when you check out a book, yeah.
Okay.
So feel free to check one out, Mr. Clerk. Like you, do you really need it?
I don't know if the library card.
All right, so councilors, tonight we're taking 2 forms of action here. The first one, Mr. Vice President, would you like to
Sure.
make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we order a public hearing for the 4 dates that I previously mentioned. Do I need to repeat them again?
May 30th, 31st, June 1st, and June 5th.
Great. Yes, so the dates are, give me a moment. Thank you, Clerk. May 30th, May 31st, June 1st, and June 5th for the Budget Committee meetings.
And any other dates that the count.
And any other dates, unanticipated dates, of course. We're going to do our best to get them done during those 4 dates. And make, order a public hearing on those 4 committee dates. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second,
Motion has been made and properly second. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Vice President?
Council President, I'd also like to make a motion that we order a public hearing for June the 13th.
Second.
Motion
For
has
the
been made
budget.
and properly second. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
I'd like to make a motion now to table the budget item at this
Second.
level.
Mo-
Actually, why don't you refer first and then table?
Yep, I'm going to refer document 20517 to the Budget and Finance Committee. And there's a motion now to table.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call, please.
Roll call.
Hey,